Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode. It is a beautiful May day here in Johnson City. It's not May Day, but it is a May day, and I'm excited because we've got Allie Bynum, and she's going to share more about the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association with us on the podcast. She has a podcast herself, right?
Yeah, right here in the same studio.
Right here with Mitch. I thought I was the only guy doing it. You're the only podcast, Mitch. You're two-timing me, man, which is great. We want you to 10-time us, like get lots of people doing podcasts. So if you are thinking about doing a podcast, call Mitch McGarry at Maypop Media. He's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. He is awesome. So, Johnson City Living. You live in Johnson City or around?
I do. I live in the rural areas of Northeast Tennessee.
What is your favorite thing about Johnson City?
My favorite thing about JC? I would say there's a few things I like about Johnson City that come to mind. First of all, I really like the downtown art scene. I feel like we have a lot of murals that have popped up over the last several years. So that's probably the first one that comes to mind.
I think you're the first person to mention the murals.
Really?
Which is super cool because we forgot about those. Not forgot about them, but you drive by them and
they're
you're kind of
so unique. There's none like them anywhere else.
They are awesome. Yes, 100%. Need to high five whoever's done murals around.
For sure. So the murals, and then I also really just like the people in JC. I think we have a very niche community here of folks. And then also just all the merchants downtown speak to me and the community. You know, we have like Pierre's Marketplace up the street, the Generalist, Main Street Pizzas. There's such a local vibe here with some farm-to-table goods and services.
Yeah, so. It is a great place to visit. Downtown is rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
And it really comes alive, too, in the spring and summer.
Like, sure does.
It's starting to get even more and more people are showing up and walking around. And
it's really just
farmers market's back going, which is cool. So
super cool every Saturday.
Johnson City is a great place. So where did you grow up? Where did you live?
I grew up in Bowmantown.
Oh,
so Johnson City was coming to town for us.
That's right.
You know, we didn't have Dollar Generals on every roadblock, corner side. So we had to drive 35, 40 minutes to get to Walmart or the grocery store. But Bowmantown was a wonderful place to call home. Out with the farms and the cows.
And the beautiful scenery around, the mountains in the background.
Rolling hills, Huge.
Did you guys grow up farming?
No, we didn't, but I grew up surrounded by farmers.
Gotcha.
So I feel like a farmer at heart. But
I did the exact same thing. We lived in a neighborhood. It was one little cul-de-sac deal inside a farm land, basically. And the farmer sold off some land and built a little cul-de-sac. And I felt like I was a farmer. I ran around with the cows every day. My mom had a bell she'd ring and
I
be
would
like,
climb hay bales for fun.
Same.
I'm glad we share that.
Yes. Just don't touch the electric fence.
Nope, which you had, when you're younger, you might have done it just to see what happened, but never again.
Yes, you do it. You touch it with the back of your hand. If you're listening, touch an electric fence with the back of your hand so it doesn't.
Or not at all.
Or not at all. That's better. But if you're going to do it with the back so it doesn't shock your hand and you close down on it.
I have a quick story I can share about an electric fence.
Let's do it.
So growing up out in Bowmantown, you got the hills, and we would ride our bikes and climb the hay bales, explore the neighbors' barns for fun. One time we have our little red wagon, and we would hike it up the hill, the steepest hill off Keys Road, and then we would jet down the hill. And this one particular time, we flipped right at the bottom of the hill, and there was an electric fence. And that was my first experience with, let's see what happens if we touch this.
And it zapped you a little bit. Yeah, because it's set up for big cows, not little kids.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good little jolt.
Yep.
We used to do red wagons riding down the hills, too.
Did you?
It was so much fun.
It's a great Tennessee pastime.
It is. We should bring it back. Red wagon, rolling down the hills time.
Yes.
So did you stay in Bowmantown and live there all your life?
I lived there till I moved away for college. So I went back and forth between my parents. So I was in Bowmantown as like my home base most of my youth, I would say. But
where'd you go to school? Where'd you leave to go to school too?
I went to ETSU.
Yep.
So went to Daniel Boone High School, Sulphur Springs Middle School. So grew up, went to ETSU, left to travel for a little while.
Okay.
Went out west and did that whole thing. Came back and went out west again, and then came back and then finished school.
What drew you out west?
The mountains.
Just the bigger,
And
sharper mountains.
The vast unknown of the journey, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And anywhere specific that you went and spent most time?
Yeah. Spent some time in the Tetons. Went up through Canada a couple times, and throughout a couple different trips back and forth from home to out west, I ended up settling for a couple years in New Mexico when I had my daughter.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you're back.
I'm back. Yeah.
And what do you do for a living, Allie?
I am a membership and marketing curator with Northeast Tennessee Tourism.
Okay. Tell us what that is. What is that?
Yeah. So we are a destination marketing organization. We serve as a regional catalyst for economic and community growth in the area. So we kind of act as the umbrella connecting our tourism entities from city to city, rural area to different communities around the region, working to promote and attract visitors to Northeast Tennessee.
How does one attract visitors? Are you like sticking ads in magazines like in boring places?
We
like
do have a magazine.
Boise, Idaho, like you want to, or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So we have a magazine and a visitor guide. That's one of our tangible ways that we do advertise. We actually have a new publication coming out here in a couple months. But we also do a lot of digital ads. We have a digital brochure. We do billboards. I would say a lot of word of mouth, and we work with the state and our communities. A lot of social media, of course. So
that's cool. How is the association funded? How do you guys make money?
Yeah, we are a membership organization. We're also a nonprofit.
Okay.
So again, we work closely with the state, the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development.
Okay.
And then we also, again, we have a membership. So that part of my role is to work with our smaller businesses and communities. We work with Bristol Motor Speedway, Tri-Cities Airport, as a collective, and just helping support those businesses and their needs, so that we can all kind of grow together.
Cool.
Yeah.
What does membership look like? If somebody's listening on the podcast, they've got a small business in town, what does that look like, and how they get involved?
Well, you can reach out to me at Allie@northeasttennessee.org. I would be your point of contact, and it looks a little different from business to business. Different businesses have different needs.
Yep.
So, for example, I might have a small business in Elizabethton who needs more in-store visitors to their sales. So that action plan might look a little different opposed to a retreat looking to increase their reach on social media. So we have different packages curated for each individual. So I would just kind of meet and go over your specific needs as a business, and then we'd make a plan from there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you feel like it's going? I mean, Johnson City seems like it's blowing up. Is that all your fault?
Oh, we're growing like crazy.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're listening, you're going to want to come to Johnson City. It's just an awesome place. And so, yeah. Do you have any statistics on how it's growing? Because I feel like we've got tens of thousands of people moving here every year.
I don't have specific statistics on the moving rates, but I can tell you that tourism brings in $841 million economic impact to Northeast Tennessee. So that's just our region alone.
$841 million is what tourism brought in.
That's right.
Per year.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. What's
the major driver of that? Like, are there certain events like that bring a lot more people, or?
I would say the outdoors, music, of course our restaurant and downtown shopping scenes, events, festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing, like, on the list of things to do in Johnson City? Like, so if somebody's like, hey, Allie, I'm only in town for a day. But I want to check it out. What should I do?
I love them all. But of course I'm very partial to the outdoors. My heart's in the outdoors and public lands and conservation. So.
Cool. So like when you say outdoors, just driving around with the windows down, walking through the streets, going to parks, getting in the what's outdoors for you? What's your favorite outdoor activity?
All of the above. I could definitely take a cruise down some back roads with the windows down. That's always fun with the dog.
It's so much fun.
Dog hanging its head out the window.
Carly and I love riding around in our area. It's just beautiful all the time.
Oh, it is. Just mountains in the backdrop. My favorite thing to do is probably hiking. I like to be able to use my own 2 feet to get to the summit of a mountain. I also really enjoy mountain biking, snowboarding, kayaking, whitewater rafting, camping, backpacking. I love it all.
Where did you get the itch to do all the outdoor activities?
Well,
Or did your family do that growing up? Or
I mean, no
besides
one's
just
ever
running
asked
around
me that before, Colin. I would say my first like vivid memory, like ever, is there's two. One of them is being on a backpack on my father's back, overlooking a waterfall.
How cool is
And
that?
I just remember like the feeling of the mist hitting my face. So that's always been one of my first memories. So I kind of trace like my love for the outdoors back to that moment for some reason.
Yeah, that's really special.
Very special. And then also being at Bays Mountain Park, if you've been, that little cave in the bottom, like as a kid, I remember being in that also on a field trip or something. So I don't know, it just I guess shows you like the importance of hands-on education for one and how it can stick with us through life.
For sure. Yeah. Getting the kids out of school, going to different places. And I remember the planetarium there at Bays Mountain was just awesome when I was a kid. And Chloe and I went probably 10 years ago, and I was like, and it came back to me, I was like, I was here. Like, it's just cool to relive
something familiar when you do it again. And nostalgic.
Yes. I love planetariums.
Me too.
They're so beautiful. I need to now thank you for reminding me about that because they're awesome.
No, they are.
Yeah.
Something else we have here.
Do I?
Something else we have here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've got it all. Talk about hiking. Where do you like to hike? What are your top 3 places to go for people who are like, oh, I'm going to come take a hike? Because I had a guy in the car the other day and he wanted to go do Buffalo Mountain. Yeah. When I was showing him houses, I was like, all right, I'm going to show you houses for the morning. And you're releasing you and you can go get lunch and then go do a hike. And they did.
Yeah. Well, there's just endless places to go. My top favorite in my heart is Roan Mountain.
Yep.
I just think it's like no other. I go up to Roan Mountain and I just feel like I'm at home.
Yeah.
During all the chaos in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can go as far as you like. You have the Appalachian Trail. So if you want to just really get out there and not hear any traffic for miles, you can just keep on walking.
Yeah.
So that's my first favorite. Laurel Falls, of course. We have tons of waterfalls in the area. That's another favorite. And then let's see, the third. Maybe Beauty Spot. I'll say Beauty Spot or one of the lesser known waterfalls, Coondin. That's a favorite. Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that one out. So, did you get a degree in like tourism and advertising? Is that how you got started in this, or did you have other jobs that kind of led you into the tourism realm?
I would say I kind of took the behind the scenes path. I had jobs in outdoor recreation and customer service that led me to where I was in tourism. And I got my degree kind of parallel to that. So I went back to school like 2 or 3 times before I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I ended up with this create your own type of degree in interdisciplinary studies with digital marketing and advertising as a double minor. So that really worked out in tourism because I use a lot of analytics and reporting tracking now that I'm thankful I learned at ETSU. But I would say definitely my customer service and background in hospitality led me to my gig in tourism and passion now for tourism.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What are some goals you have this year for tourism and your position?
Yeah. I would say continue to increase our membership for sure.
How many members do you have?
We're, I won't say for now.
Okay.
Let's keep that kind of mysterious.
We just need more.
We like to always have more in the community.
That's right.
And we're growing. And it's also fun to kind of graduate from membership because when we have small businesses come in and do, for example, our marketing package, to see them meet their goals and then say, we actually no longer need this support. We've got our own marketing person now. Or it's not, you don't expect to come to membership and be with us forever as a small business.
Okay. I was thinking it was more like an ongoing membership kind of deal that you would.
But you can. A lot of people stick with us because also you have the connection with the state. We go to Nashville and lobby for certain bills that help tourism and different taxes and things like that. So it is helpful to be within the membership. It's a great network and community of support ongoing. But some goals for this year. I'm really like doing a deep dive into our campaign analytics right now. So I've been doing like goals to increase reach, increase engagement. And I guess those are more like on the paper goals personally. But I just want to continue to grow in my role and I enjoy building these relationships with the community.
Right.
And continuing to be appreciative of the outdoors. And while we promote all these places we love, I guess a personal goal of mine is to equally promote the sustainability and conservation of these places, because we are growing really quickly.
We are. It's like we got to do it well too.
Yeah.
So I love that you're thinking about that ahead of time. So you help with marketing. Like if I was, let's say Carly and I wanted to become members and join, take me through it. Let's talk about how you could help us increase our reach to bring more people here to, want to buy a house.
Yeah. So for real estate, well, I mean, first of all, we'd sit down and have a conversation. We'd take an hour so I could really just listen to what it is you do and the type of consumer that you're interested in reaching and the current platforms you're on. And then it's really parallel again to how we help you grow. It's also helping us grow. So I would use some of our similar tactics that, across, we use Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. It's our top 3. So I would see, are you on those platforms? First of all.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I would say, what's your current reach? What are your goals? Do you want to get more conversions to your website? Do you want to just have a bigger audience on your social media? So I would sit down and see what it is you need.
Gotcha.
Then I would go back to the office and write up a follow-up. Here's how we can do this step by step. If I felt like you could benefit from an extra package, I would say, here, let's do this. I can create your graphics. I can run some ads for you through this additional add-on package. And then I would send it back your way. And then it's just kind of a toss back and forth till I feel like you're our client.
Yeah.
Your needs are met in that way. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That may be something we have to talk about because you kind of, we're always looking for ways of, to engage with people and help them. And after selling a ton of houses here, we feel like we can take great care of people and transition their family here. And so
absolutely,
I want to get in front of as many people as we can so we can help as many people as we can.
Well, that's what we're here for, is, to promote, again, the community and economic growth in our region. So
yeah. What's one of the coolest projects you've worked on in your role that would share with somebody you could share?
There's so many. So I get to do the marketing, but I couldn't do it without our executive director, Alicia Phelps. So I was listening to your podcast earlier about I'm going to say it wrong, Enneagrams.
Yeah.
And it was so funny the part y'all were talking about where one is a 1 and one is I can't remember, but the 1 initiates the tasks and the 1 is the creative,
yes.
It reminded me of how Alicia and I bounced stuff back and forth because it's like I couldn't fulfill my tasks without her being it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but here's the go.
Yeah.
And then having the room and the ideation to create and put, some fluff behind it.
Yeah. It's like a perfect team combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Same with Carly. She's great on a lot of the stuff that I'm terrible at, and I do a lot of things that she doesn't want to do. So it's just awesome how it works out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
For sure. So some of our fun projects this year. So right now we're working on the Visitor Guided Magazine.
Okay.
That's super fun because we get to change that from year to year with new updated content, including outdoors, food, things to do in the region. So that's always a fun time. We're doing ad sales, which is super exciting. We're wrapping up our spring campaign. So that had a big element of outdoors, downtown, and I really geek out pulling in all the analytics. That's where I get really excited to see what the numbers were. What were the goals we set? Did we achieve the goals? Did we overachieve the goals? And how can we use this campaign for next time, next quarter? So that was super fun. And really, Alicia has really just given me a lot of freedom to create those campaigns.
Because she's not geeking out on it. She's like me, probably just, did we do great? Yeah, okay, good. We did good, we did bad. That's all I need to know. We don't really redo it. And you're like, down to, we only had 14.2 people look at it every day. And this is when they looked at it at 3 a.m. And
yes.
Like, oh,
and that's where I am geeking out. And I'm thankful that's when she's out there lobbying and she's doing the meetings, the face-to-face. So
yes.
I feel like we work very well
I just got off a call with our guy from Place, and he was looking at our website, and he was saying, this person's looking at between 4 and 5, and then they're looking at late at night at 9 and 10. And I'm like, okay, great.
It's crazy how deep you can dive into it now.
Isn't it crazy?
It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah. And you're like, so you should call them around 5 because they're off work and they're looking at your website. And you're like,
yeah. And you have Google Analytics, you have Facebook Meta, LinkedIn has its own analytics. Now I think Twitter is bringing its own, or X.
Yeah.
But they all have their own platforms. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, tell the listeners how they can listen to your podcast. Tell us about your podcast.
Sure. Meet Me in Tennessee is a podcast sponsored by the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association.
Okay.
It's produced by Maypop Media and hosted in downtown Johnson City.
Maypop Media.
Yeah, we love Maypop.
Go Mitch.
Go Mitch.
You're the man.
And Marissa, yes. And y'all can find that on Spotify, Apple, and we also, because I do like to look at the data, some people listen on Alexa. So
Oh, really?
I don't know what that's about. But
That's cool.
yeah.
Can you just say, hey, Alexa,
I guess
play
you can.
Meet Me in Tennessee podcast or the Johnson City Living podcast, and it'll just keep
Apparently
going?
you can, yeah. I
That's
don't have
super cool.
Alexa, so I don't know.
We got one. Carly says it's listening all the time. I'm like, well, we
That's
got to
what
be
I
on.
feel
I'll
like
be
it
on
would
good
be.
behavior, which is good. I need to be on there. What's so Meet Me in Tennessee? Who are the guests typically you have on there, and what is it? What's exciting about it? Like, what are our lists? They're going to go right after they listen to this to your podcast.
I hope so. Y'all should definitely check it out. We talk about upcoming events.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're into spring and summer, so we just hosted Emily Thompson with Fun Fest. We also talk about the outdoors and conservation. We had some guests on from the National Forest, Cherokee National Forest.
Cool.
And we got to learn kind of behind the scenes of what it takes to build a trail and the appreciation that you can have from, hiking that trail to it didn't just appear overnight.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
There's a lot of work, a lot of volunteerism that goes into it. We talked with some folks from Bays Mountain during the solar eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
So we had
I
those
bet
folks
that was
on.
crazy.
So I would say just a lot of, hands-on museum things to do in the area. We talk a lot about what you can do, how you can experience Northeast Tennessee. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I had a long time ago, Josh Collins was on. He builds mountain bike trails.
Cool.
And so he worked on Tannery Knobs. And you're like, you go up there and you're like, oh, yeah, this is, and I mean, they were stacking rocks by hand. I mean, big stuff. It's just super cool.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they got the little excavators in there.
Oh, yeah. And just building unbelievable trails. You said you mountain bike. Do you like Tannery Knob?
I do like Tannery Knobs. It's, I kind of like to get more in the cross country out there and get lost a little bit. I like Tannery. Last 2 times I rode out there, I went off the mountain.
That's not good.
Yeah. So
Allie needs to stay on the trail.
It's steep, but you have the pump track so you can practice beforehand.
Yeah, get warmed up.
It's real big trails out there to have right here in downtown.
Where do you like to go? What's the cross country?
I like riding up at Warriors Path. That's a good close one. I also like kind of getting lost up in Pisgah, which is North Carolina, but it's still right over the state line. Mm-hmm. So it's still a day's ride. I like to go out there towards Brevard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Tell me about your whitewater excursions. What do you like doing there?
Yeah. So before I worked with Northeast Tennessee Tourism, I managed our office at USA Raft Adventure.
Oh, wow.
Resort. And before that, I was a raft guide way, way back in the day. And I was not a seasoned raft guide. I did it for like 1 or 2 seasons and on the lower Nolichucky. But I've always had a passion for the Nolichucky River.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is. My mom used to take me there at Big Rock when I was little girl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very peaceful and homey out there. Homey, I guess that's not like you're my homie, but
you can meet your homies out where it's
you
homey.
can meet your homies at the river, that's for sure.
I love it.
But we have world-class whitewater right here in our backyard.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's nuts.
Yeah.
We got USA Raft, we got Blue Ridge paddling. You can go up there and rent a fun yak if you want to do it solo with a guide, or you can take a raft down, and it's stunning scenery.
It is. It's beautiful.
Sometimes I don't want to share it, but I do want to share it.
Yeah, we got a lot of people going down the river, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of rain lately, so I bet it's rolling.
We have. This is whitewater season.
I'm
it
sure.
just kicked off with Noli Fest. Like, we're into it.
Yeah, it's probably rolling this week because it's just been nonstop rain for the last couple of weeks.
For sure. It's a good season.
Yeah.
Everything's so green right now.
It is beautiful. I love this. I was talking to somebody. The mountains are just turning a lovely light green, and they just kind of get darker through the year. And it's just always changing, always beautiful.
I think spring's kind of an underrated season because we're so known for our fall colors.
Yes.
But the spring, after you go from all the trees being bare and kind of coming out of that cocoon phase into like everything is bright. There's flowers, wildflowers everywhere.
Wildflowers, trees are blooming.
Yeah.
I think everybody gets a little like allergy fear going, and they're like, "Oh,
I'm a little raspy right now."
I don't want to be this. Yeah, spring. Spring just brings on pollen, and that's just gonna wear me out.
Yeah,
but it's not that bad. I don't think.
It.
And the rain helps knock it down some, so that's good. That's where we've been too. What's somebody who's been like a huge influence in your life you'd like to maybe talk about.
Sure.
So give a shout out to.
My dad.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Tell us about Dad. What does he do?
Yeah. He's retired now. My dad is just, I don't know, he's my number one fan and my number one person, role model in life. He's just always had such a true, sincere heart. And growing up, he just, I don't know, without like trying to teach me, he just really taught me to appreciate, I guess, like the small things in life and, working hard to get to your goals and having goals.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me how to change a tire and made sure I could do that before I could drive. He wouldn't let me drive.
Sounds just like Carly's dad. She made him do the same thing. Yes.
And now he's, a papa of my daughter and I get to see them have that bond. And I just couldn't say enough about it. Like he's definitely been my rock and my biggest supporter through life.
Yeah.
It's like any crazy idea. Like one time I decided I was going to play electric guitar in the 7th grade. And he's like, let's get you geared up. You're going to be a rock star.
We're going to rock it. Let's go.
So I'd be upstairs in our old farmhouse playing Smoke on the Water because that's the only song I knew. Every night I'd turn that amp up and play Smoke on the Water.
I love it.
And I think he might have kind of regretted it.
He's like, okay, I'm just going to put my...
Then I moved on to the bongos next week and he was down with that.
There you go.
All right, she's going to be a bongo star. Let's do it.
One lady band all the way around. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure he appreciates those wonderful comments, because parents have been, I can't thank my parents enough either. They're just huge influences and we're so lucky. I mean,
for sure.
Just to be here in East Tennessee, my dad said he got offers to move numerous times for jobs. And he said, no, I'm staying here because it's just a great place to raise a family.
Yeah. So, my dad always said it was a great place to raise kids as well because he's actually from St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, wow.
So many moons ago, he met my mom in Florida and, ended up coming back here to be able to raise me. And he's like, it's beautiful. Like I can't leave. And this is where he wanted to come back to. So
I love it. Yeah. I love it. All right, let's get into some hard questions.
No.
So you're over Northeast Tennessee. What's your favorite town?
My favorite town. I think.
Which one you like the best? Is it Johnson City, Kingsport, Bristol?
Are we talking about like anywhere in the country?
Which is, all right, let's talk about suburbs like Jonesboro, Elizabethton. What are some of the little towns around? Because Tri-Cities gets, Johnson City, Bristol, Kingsport, they get the major people hear about those because they're bigger.
Sure.
So let's talk about the other sleeper towns around that are awesome that you need to go visit.
For visiting, I guess Jonesboro is one of those personal favorites because I spent some time growing up in Jonesboro.
Same.
My mom moved around a lot.
It's the quintessential downtown. It's like right out of a Norman Rockwell painting. It's awesome.
It's historic. It's the oldest town in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I remember learning how to ride a bike down that sidewalk, and cool. There's the stairs where the carriages used to park. So that's cool. And the farmers market scene, that's one of those definitely quintessential areas. And we're talking about, I guess that's not really a lesser known one, but Mountain City, Johnson County. Such a beautiful, spectacular rural area.
Yes,
they have the Sunflower Festival and now the Copper Road Music Festival coming up.
Oh, cool.
Am I saying that right? Copperhead Road.
Copperhead Road?
Is that the song?
That's a song.
Okay. Copperhead Road Music Fest is coming up for the first annual this year.
That's cool.
In Johnson County. Super cool area. It's kind of under the radar. You have Watauga Lake sailing out there. You have hiking. You have Doe Mountain Recreation Area. So you have mountain biking, ATV riding, a shooting range. I mean, it's definitely undersold, I would say.
Yeah, because I don't know that anybody's mentioned Johnson County or Mountain City on the podcast. So we talk about Watauga Lake for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's Butler up there. But Johnson County's awesome.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Carly and Kristen had to play a tennis match there last year. And we were driving up there and we were like, oh man, we should come up here more. We haven't been up here in forever.
So it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Irwin, we've got Greenville.
Yeah, I'm very partial to Irwin, of
Telford,
course.
Bowmantown.
I love Bowmantown.
Elizabethton.
Irwin's a great place for, base camp of adventure because you have the Appalachian Trail that crosses right over the Nolichucky River. You got kayaking, mountain biking. They just had their Unaka mountain bike park built, 1 or 2 summers ago.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's right there for the outdoor enthusiast.
Yeah.
But I love all of our cities.
They're all great. I was just putting you on the spot. I know you've got friends in every one of them, and I was just making you. So let's say you're going to go get a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
What are your top 3 coffee spots? Because we don't want to eliminate anybody.
Yeah, my top 3. Several of them are right here in Johnson City. I love Open Doors.
Yes.
Right up the street.
Give Sherry, Marion, and Mike a little shout out.
Dos Gatos makes a mean latte.
Yep, I'm a latte guy. They do a good job.
And then the Coffee Company in Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good one also.
Yes, it is super good.
So those are the top 3.
Okay. You're going to go get a hamburger. Cheeseburger, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if does people eat hamburgers still, or do everybody get a cheeseburger pretty much?
I'd say cheeseburger.
I'm a cheeseburger guy. Yeah, so let's say you're getting a cheeseburger. Where are you going for a cheeseburger?
Okay. I don't know if it's still open.
Okay.
But it's one of those hidden spots that, like, if it is open, you have
Maybe
to
one of our listeners could go and find out.
You have to go find out.
Radio in and say it's open.
Watauga Diner.
Watauga Diner.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
out towards Piney Flats.
Okay.
Makes the best cheeseburger I've ever eaten.
Really?
Yeah. They also have like fried mac and cheese bites.
Mitch, you want to go get a cheeseburger? All right, we're rolling to Watauga Diner. That sounds good. Yeah. I bet they've got that griddle where it's just super seasoned, kind of black, and it's perfect.
One of those hidden, So
yeah.
Good.
Carly's dad likes a place in Bristol called Tootie's. It's a little hole in the wall, and they have great burgers. Oh, man, so good.
I'll have to check them out.
Yes, it was super good, super good. Pizza joint?
Oh, used to be Scratch before they closed.
Everybody says
RIP.
that. We need to. I don't know why anybody doesn't just grab that up. And
we got to bring it back because it's one of a kind. I really like Main Street.
Oh, Main Street's good.
They got some good pizza for sure.
Big slices. Yeah.
And they source their veggies right from their garden, River Creek Farm in Limestone. So
that's
like
cool.
That
I didn't know that.
Jamie and Elise are great folks.
We went to Sim's last night for Dollar Slice Night.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Sim's Pizza is so good. If you're going out for dessert, something like that, where you're going to go for ice cream, cake, whatever.
Ice cream.
You scream ice cream. We all scream for ice cream.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a dessert, a
dessert joint. You don't take your daughter out for ice cream occasionally? There's a place called The Scoop in Gray.
Is there? I've not been there because we used to go to Marble Slab back in the day, but they closed down.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of like a new up-and-coming dessert place, but
I think this is maybe top secret, but
I have one.
They're going to come out with ice cream down in Jonesboro again.
That has to be a thing. Yes, all-time favorite, and I can't believe it slipped my mind, is the Southern Churn fudge shop in Bristol, downtown Bristol. Have you been there?
No. Carly's from Bristol too. I don't know why I haven't been there.
They have hand-dipped ice cream. They have all it's like walking into a nostalgic kids candy store.
Uh-huh.
And then they also have the homemade fudge, and I think they source their chocolates from, I don't know, somewhere from out of town.
Ooh.
But they're delicious. Like, they do little fudge chocolates. They're really good.
Super good. Yeah. It's called the Fudge Churn.
The Southern Churn.
Southern Churn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm gonna have to check it out.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What am I forgetting to ask you about around here that you should share with our listeners? Something we haven't talked about. We got a ton of parks too, right? I mean,
we do. Like
do you
outdoor
guys have
recreational parks. Yeah. Bays Mountain Park for sure. Johnson City Founders Park.
Yep.
Sycamore Shoals and Elizabethton, Still Creek and Bristol. You've got the Greenbelt and Kingsport. I mean, we're so blessed and fortunate for the amount of parks and green spaces that we do have already. And I hope to continue to welcome more to the area. Yeah.
On your website, what kind of information can people find there? My brain was going, if they go to your website, they can get to the park information. They can get to all kinds of cool stuff, probably.
So folks, can visit northeasttennessee.org to find trip ideas, things to do in the area, historic sites. We have some features on there that have been really popular with guests, like the Bluff City Swinging Bridge, Tipton Haynes Historic Site. Folks really like to come here and learn about the region's history.
Yeah.
And ancestry is kind of growing.
One of my friends just got rained out. He was supposed to be doing a reenactment at Tipton Haynes this past weekend.
Isn't that cool? That is on my bucket list.
That's super cool. He loves it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so cool. Sycamore Shoals is a big place for that as well. We've also had a lot of folks interested in Mahala Mullins Cabin, which is in Sneedville. It's not in this general area, but we recently launched our Bootleggers and Burnouts self-guided heritage trail. So that covers a lot of those historic bootlegging sites, as well as some Tennessee distilleries. And we don't recommend drinking and driving ever, but there is a historic approach to the trail. And then also the Tennessee Night Sky Trail we recently launched in the winter, which is also self-guided night sky. So
that's cool. Things I hadn't even thought of.
Yeah, and all that's on the website.
How do they get there again? NortheastTennessee.org?
NortheastTennessee.org. On the socials, it's Northeast 10, NortheastTenn.
That's a mouthful.
It is. And of course, check out the podcast. That's a great place for up-to-date events and happenings.
I like it. All right. I'm going to turn it over to you since you're a podcast host. Hit me. What would you,
Sure.
we'll just turn the mic over to you for a second.
We could chat all day.
Yep.
So Colin.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're...
Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Thanks for being here. If you're on a road trip to a new place that you've never been.
Yes.
What would somebody catch you listening to on the radio? Like you're totally in jam mode.
Well, I like to defer to my wife. She's got way better music taste than I do, and so she'll agree to that 1,000%. I'm listening to a lot of Morgan Wallen just because he's awesome. Toby Mac is coming. We just bought tickets he's going to be here in Elizabethan, so I like a lot of Christian stuff.
Do you see where Post Malone has been like collabing with Morgan Wallen?
Oh, really?
I find that very interesting.
No, that's crazy. Yeah. But I do have a friend who makes, he knows a guy who makes knives. Well, he was making some knives here locally. He's a world-class knife maker or whatever.
Cool.
So he asked my buddy, he's like, hey, do you know this dude named Post Malone? And he was like, yeah. And he goes, well, he's DMing me and trying to get to talk to me about the knives and stuff. And he's like, he was like, I don't know. And so wound up, my friend said, yeah, you should talk to him. And so he wound up hanging out with him. Yeah, right. He didn't know who he was. And so I think he's probably made him multiple knives now, which is super cool.
Some guy named Post, I don't know.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Post something Malone, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to defer to Carly to run the radio. I like listening to podcasts a lot.
Okay.
So I'll listen
Me too, yeah.
Some business stuff. I like real estate-y stuff sometimes.
I love podcasts.
Yeah. If I'll probably just put on some like 80s jam too, because 90s music I like.
80s jam's always good.
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
I've got two boys, one who's 21 and he lives in Knoxville. Cameron, hey Cam, and then Christian, 17, getting ready to graduate from Providence.
Okay.
And so Carly and I have been consumed with prom and graduation stuff that's coming up. And so, yes, we got two boys.
So what are some of y'all's favorite family activities to do in the area?
So Christian and Cameron and I, when Cameron's in town, we try and play golf. We like to play golf, and our area has some great golf courses.
Oh, it sure does. Y'all ever play disc golf?
We did. We took regular Frisbees to Wing Deer Park and played golf over there. We played Frisbee golf. We had a blast, but they're not the exact right ones, but we made it through. We just say we crawled through some weeds and probably got some poison ivy finding our
that could happen.
Our Frisbees.
But for your listeners, there are some great disc golf courses.
There are some great disc golf
and
courses.
Regular golf courses.
And regular golf courses.
For sure. What's some places that you like to eat at locally that you can only find here in Johnson City?
Yeah, Carly and I, we love we used to go to Barbaritos every day. Oh. Like when when Christian was a little guy, we were just there every day almost. And I saw Sonia, she's kind of one of the managers there, and saw her yesterday there, and she was like, you guys used to come in every day. Now I'm coming in like once every 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something. But we love Barbaritos just because my buddy Andy and Brian, they're great, and we like supporting them. We like Holy Taco. We like White Duck Taco. There's a taco thing because Barbaritos makes tacos.
We got some good taco joints.
We got some good tacos. Just had lunch with my pastor, Spencer. We went to Ridgewood Barbecue, had some of the blue cheese and crackers. And
the word's out about Ridgewood.
So good. We didn't have to wait. So that was good. So if we went a little later, 12:30, we got right in.
That was the first meal I had after I had my daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Firehouse barbecue is good. I like barbecue, Southern Craft. We like Thai food. So
we have some great Thai food.
Zap Lai is really good. We like them.
There's that new one off the Boones Creek exit. Can't place what it's called.
Oh, yeah. Carly saw that the other day. I forget what it's called. We'll have to try it out.
I love Zap Lai too, though. So, very cool.
We like to eat a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
We eat out too much.
A good mix.
But then Pal's is great too. Yeah, red maize is fantastic.
So what's your favorite coffee shop? Now I'm curious.
I love Open Doors because I love that they support Rise Up. They started it and they're supporting it through their coffee shop. And I think it's awesome. Dos Gatos is great.
They just have great customer service too, both of them.
Open
Doors
Jake
are always so
is
friendly.
the manager up there now, and he's just awesome. So I love Open Doors. That's probably my go-to. And then Dos Gatos second. Or the Moon right up here too is great. Brett, he's really such a nice guy.
We're surrounded by wonderful coffee shops.
And wonderful people. I think that's what makes it.
For sure.
Yeah.
And just side note, we have bean roasters right in Elizabeth and Doe River.
Yes, they roast a lot of beans.
Right from the source. I got one more question for you.
All right, last one.
Johnson City Living Podcast. What's your passion behind that? What's your motif?
Yeah, so I wanted to. It was during the pandemic. I wanted to start a podcast because I miss people. I'm a people person, and I wanted to talk to more people. And so I was like, I told somebody I looked at microphones like for a day and a half. Like, which microphone should you choose, and why should you choose it? And then what do you do with the cord? You got to plug it into something, and what does that plug into? And then you got to mix it, and you got to have some kind of thing that. And I don't even know where to start. I'm going to freak out. And so I saw my friend Leighton and I said, hey, I hear you've got a podcast. He's like, yes, I do. And I'm producing them. So he did what Mitch did. And he said, you could just come do it there. And I said, okay, that's great. And he goes, actually, I'm ready to hand over the Johnson City Living one. And so I was like, this is the best thing ever. And so I talked to Carly. We said, this is great. Let's do it. And so I just connect with awesome people.
How fun.
All over the area. And then share what all their awesomeness is to all the people that are on the airwaves listening and want to come here. And so it's just a resource. So I'm looking, and I hope, that I can connect great people with great people.
For sure. A lot of connections can be made with podcasts. A lot of conversations can be started.
Yep.
It's a great way to pass time on your way to work or coming home from work.
And see, now I've got a great connection through the tourism. So I'll be like, oh, you need to talk to Allie. She'll hook you up. She'll get your business rocking and rolling. And you'll be getting lots more impressions at 4 PM or whatever on your website. So
lots of magic happening here at Maypop Media.
Yes, exactly. Lots of magic has happened here. And like I said earlier, if you have an itch to do the podcast thing, come talk to Mitch. He'll let you talk to him all day for free. And then if you get into it with him, it's the best thing ever. Like literally I walk in, say hi to Mitch, say hi to Allie, we sit down, we talk, and I'll leave. And it's just done. And his wife
it's a fun game.
Markets it all and does it all. It's great. So
yeah.
All right. My last question for you is, what gets you fired up? Like, oh, let's go. Oh, it's go time. Come on, Allie. What is?
Dr. Enough.
There you go. Dr. Enough. Yes. The consummate tourism person is going to pick a beverage that's born and raised and built here and still bottled here. Yes.
It does, though. I mean,
it gets you jacked up. It's all the vitamins and minerals and soda. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. I learned a lot. I've learned that you're a fellow podcaster. So thank you for doing that and connecting with people and bringing people to our area and making it better. And so I'm excited to just continue to watch our area grow. I've been around a while. Been here 50 years. And so I'm watching it now. And I'm like, what's the next 50 years going to look like? Because in the last 15, it seems like it's just really transformed. And so it's really cool.
Yeah.
But thank you for what you do and helping all the people who come here.
Thanks for having me, Colin.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Of course, if you want to move here and meet Allie or just go around and eat pizza and ice cream and get a coffee at Dos Gatos or Open Doors, call me. I'll take you right there. But if you want to buy a house and invest in real estate, I'd love to help you with that as well. So thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.